Hello gang, Does Your Mother Know doesn't contain that many anomalies, so I'll try and keep this video brief, but give you some interesting theories, as it were, to make it worth your while watching. I did this with all versions of Does Your Mother Know that I possess. That is the one on the vinyl of Greatest Hits Volume 2, vinyl Voulez-Vous album, ABBA Gold, and also one of the Astley mixes. That's the 97 one, which I have to say is horrific in terms of sound quality. It's just awful to listen to because the compression used is so much that it makes that sort of bass synth at the beginning just sound a mess. Anyway, enough misery, let's get on with the actual anomalies. Right, this anomaly is very, very obvious on whatever equipment you're listening on. You don't even need a particularly revealing hi-fi setup to hear it. As the drums come in after the bass synthesizer at 7 seconds, and also similarly at 120, there's this really strange noise. It's quite a low down sort of wowy noise, almost like somebody shouting, blokes shouting at one another or something like that. Now either A, it was blokes shouting at one another, or B, it's some sort of faulty equipment that is coming over, being picked up by the microphones, or C, it's, and this is probably what I think it is, I think in order to get that synthesizer sound, they've had to mix in phase and out of phase signals together, and as the drums have come in, they've cancelled something out, and you're getting this funny sort of wowy noise as well. But when I got the idea for these anomalies, Does Your Mother Know and Dancing Queen were the two that I listened to out of phase first. I have to say I couldn't hear this out of phase. Having said that, I was obsessed with the idea that somebody was talking on there, and I thought at the time that it sounded a bit like the end of Strawberry Fields Forever, where John is supposed to have said "I buried Paul," but in reality actually says cranberry sauce. And if Bjorn and Benny had such iconic status as John Lennon, then there would be deranged fans trying to work out exactly what it said and the inner meaning of it all and everything else like that. But that's not to be, thankfully. So there you go, a really curious anomaly there, and probably 3 decent theories. And I would go with theory C, that it's to do with some sort of phase or out of phase signal cancelling something out or something like that to give that sort of shouty noise. Right, this anomaly's also got a story attached to it, because as some of you will know, I was lucky enough to go and see ABBA at Wembley in 1979. That's one of the advantages of being old, I'm afraid. And at that concert, the guitarists broke out into a solo after the second chorus, and you can hear that performance. It's very widely available on the ABBA Live LP. You'll also see it on the ABBA Live DVD, and there are bootlegs around of the performance as well. But my theory is that they originally recorded a version of that with the guitar solo in and intended it for release. But when it became accepted that it was going to be a single, they edited that out, because then that would make it a good, perfect 3 minutes long, which is really, if you want airtime, 3 minutes is the perfect pop song length. And it was edited out, and out of phase at 2 minutes 32, you can hear this chromatic bass line which comes in every time you get a Does Your Mother Know That You're Out. You get this chromatic bass pattern, which I'll play to you in a second. But it's incredibly loud at the 2 minute 32 place, which is where that guitar solo would normally be. And I reckon they've done 2 chops, one at the beginning, one at the end, spliced the tapes together, had a jump, and so they've had to be, you know, really quite forceful with that extra bass line. And it also, I think, if I'm right here, it comes in extreme left and extreme right, whereas the other instances of this line come in centre. So I'll just hop up and play it to you. It's that line there, and as I say, out of phase, listen out for it, because it's, well, you'll find it impossible not to hear it, because it really sticks out like a sore thumb. Also, similarly, where the choruses repeat for the fade out, where it keeps going back, you'll also hear that same technique being used to edit together the chorus repeats. Not an anomaly on the recording, but a sheet music anomaly here. When I was a kid, I was given a gift of the Voulez-Vous sheet music, and the version of Does Your Mother Know that's presented in there was the version that they played on ABBA in Switzerland. Now, the ABBA Gold folio also, here it is, the ABBA Gold sheet music here, also contains this version. And the introduction really was the most different thing about it, I think. Whereas the familiar sort of bass G quavers, dum 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 dum, those were not on the ABBA in Switzerland version. Instead, you had this pattern here. Now that sort of descending piano introduction did still survive on the single. You can hear it being played in the Take It Easy, try to call it girl bits. But it was also the backing to that guitar solo that I talked about a minute ago. There are versions around of the sheet music as the record, but I think that's, you know, quite an interesting thing as well. That it's actually not a bad arrangement at all. But I remember being taken aback at the time, thinking, you know, why on earth did they bother, you know, releasing sheet music to a performance that they did just once, as opposed to the one that's actually on the record. But there you go. Such is life. All right. I'll see you next time. Bye.